Many people think that more birds always equals more money, but in real farming, the math is different. In this video, I am going to show you how 100 Sasso layers can actually outperform 300 commercial layers in profit. So, if you are someone who wants to do layer chicken farming and you want to know where real money is, this video is for you. Make sure you stick around because I'm going to share breakdown, cost, requirement, and profit analysis. So by the end of the video, you should decide whether you want to do 100 Sasso or 300 commercial layers. We are going to do cost analysis and comparison between 100 Sasso on one hand and 300 commercial layers on the other hand. I'm also going to capture the cost of feeds up to the point of laying. That is where real math is. 80% of the cost of production in chicken farming goes to the feeds. So when you get it wrong on the feeds, you get it wrong on everything. And I'm going to show you how much this chicken will consume up to the point of lay for Sasso, each chicken, and how much the commercial layer consume, and the difference, and how much profit you can actually make per day when you are keeping commercial layer and when you are keeping Sasso. We are starting with Sasso, then going to commercial layer. So for Sasso, you will need 100 day-old chicks, each going for 100. That is totaling to 11,000. So number two, you will need feeders. How many feeders do you need? 10. 10 feeders, each going for 500. How much is that? 5,000. Item number three, drinkers. How many drinkers will we need? 5. Each drinker goes for how much? 400. Total, 4,000. The next thing we need is brooding kit. Brooding kit includes the brooding pots or charcoal stove, the multivitamin that you'll be administering on day one, the glucose that you'll give the birds once they arrive in the farm to give them energy to eat, and liquid paraffin that you'll give on day one to avoid having pastry bat. So we just buy one stove which goes for 3,500. The charcoal that we will need to brood the birds for 15 days minimum, if you are in an area like mine, which is not extremely cold, it's around 800. If you are in cold areas where you have to brood your birds for more than 2 weeks, the maximum you can spend is 1,500. So multivitamin and glucose for 100 birds, multivitamin, glucose, and liquid paraffin for 100 birds, that is how much? 500. Then we go to vaccination. You will vaccinate the birds against Gumboro twice, Newcastle, Coryza, full typhoid for Sasso only. And the estimated cost of vaccination and medication in case of a bacterial disease outbreak, you want to buy antibiotics, all that will cost you 4,000 maximum until the point of lay. Okay? So we go to the feeds. How much feed do 100 chicks need from day old to the point of lay, which is usually between week 19 to week 20? Sasso start laying between week 19 to 20. Let no one lie to you that they lay from week 17. No, that is commercial layer. So for our 100 Sasso, to raise one bird up to the point of lay, you will need 600 bob. 600 bob. So 600 bob times 100 chicks up to the point of lay, how much will we spend? That is 60,000. So the total amount of money we'll need for feeds until the bird starts laying is 60,000 plus the requirements, other requirement, which is 29,500. So the total amount of money you will need before you can start earning money from your chickens when they start laying for 100 Sasso is 89,500. Before we proceed to the profit and cost analysis of Sasso, let's go to the 300 commercial layers. So for the 300 commercial layers, we will need day-old chicks. How many? 300. Each chick goes for 150 Kenya shillings. Multiply 150 times 300. That is 45,000 for the chicks. We will also need feeders. For 300 birds, we will need 30 feeders. Each feeder goes for 500 bob. Multiply that, we get 15,000 for 30 feeders. Comparatively, in 300 layers, you will use 30 feeders, but for 100 Sasso, you can only use 10 feeders. Are you starting to see the difference? in the cost. Yes. So for feeders, 30 feeders, 5,000. Drinkers, you need 15. So usually for drinkers, you will need a half the total number of feeders. So you will need 15 drinkers, each going for 400 bob. So 400 bob times 15, that is 6,000. Yes. Charcoal stove. The charcoal stove that we use for brooding 100 sass can still brood 300 commercial layers. So the cost of the stove still remains the same, 3,500. The charcoal you will need for brooding for 15 days or 21 days in very cold areas like Nyahururu, Naivasha, Mount Kenya area, 1,500 bob. That is one sack of charcoal. And for vaccination and medication, for 300 commercial layers, you will need around 5,000 because you will vaccinate the birds against Newcastle, then another Newcastle booster shot, Gumboro, then another Gumboro booster shot, for typhoid, coryza. The hatchery usually provide the vaccination schedule that you should use. Kenchik, I'm sure they provide vaccination schedule. So you follow that vaccination schedule, the date, weeks, when the birds should be vaccinated. When you calculate the total cost for that, it can't go beyond 5,000 for 300 birds. Okay? So the feeds up to the point of lay. To raise a commercial layer from day on up to the point of lay, you will spend around 750 Kenya shillings to 800. Yes. And at that point it is laying, let alone someone who tells you that they are selling point of lay chicken but still take a month with them in the farm before they start laying. I'm talking about chicken that are laying. You will spend 800 bob per chicken to start laying. So we have 300 chicken. Multiply that by 800, that is 240,000 Kenya shillings. So the other requirements before you come to the cost of feeds was 77,000 in total. So when you add to 40,000 to that, you get 371,000 Kenya shillings. Ladies and gentlemen, are you seeing the amount of money you will need to do 300 commercial layers vis-a-vis the amount of money you will need for 100 Sasso? The difference like day and night. Of course, Sasso are just 100, these are 300. But we are coming to the profit part and you will see for yourself. Now, can we do the profit analysis of 100 Sasso layers and 300 commercial layers and see where money is? Okay? You have 100 Sasso layers. Let's assume they are laying at 80%. Yes, Sasso cannot lay beyond that. In fact, most of them lay between 75 to 80. If you are doing everything right, you will achieve a laying rate of 80% in Sasso. For 100 birds and laying rate 80%, you will collect 80 eggs per day. Okay? 80 eggs per day. Sasso eggs are fertilized eggs. You are going to sell them at 25 bob to breeders, people who are hatching day-old chicks. You are also likely to sell them to people who are going to eat them. There are people who prefer eating improved kienyeji egg than the commercial egg. So the Sasso fertilized egg goes for 25 bob. For 80 eggs, how much is that? That is 80 times 25. That is 2,000. So the gross sale per day, after you've sold your 80 eggs per day, you will earn 2,000. That is gross sale. So we need to go to the cost of feeds that the chicken will need to lay one egg. Sasso chicken will eat between 120 to 130 grams of layer mash per day to give you one egg. Okay? 130. 130 times 100, that's how much? 13,000. 13,000 divided by 1,000. So 100 Sasso layers will eat 13 kg of layer mash per day. 50 kg bag of layer mash goes for between 3,600 to 3,750. So that is roughly 70,000. That's roughly 70 bob per kg. So your chickens, your 100 Sasso eat 13 kg of layer mash per day, and each kg goes for 70 bob. You multiply, you get how much? 910. So you will spend 910 per day on 100 birds to give you 80 eggs that you will sell for 2,000. So let us find out the net profit. That is 2,000 minus to 9,010. That's how much. So you'll make a net profit of 1,090 Kenya shillings per day from 100 Sasso layers. Multiply by 30 days. How much do you earn per month? That is 32,700 Kenya shillings. Remember, I have not deducted the cost of labor because I'm assuming you are providing labor. You will pay yourself. Now let us go to this other side. Commercial layers, 300. How much are you going to earn per day and per month? Profit analysis. Commercial layers are prolific in laying. They will lay up to 90% if everything is up to standard. Feeding well, good health, a proper aeration in the house, and hygiene, 90%. Okay? So you have your 300 commercial layers. They are laying at 90%. How many eggs are you going to get per day? That is 90% of 300. That is 270 eggs per day. 270 eggs per day divided by 30 eggs to get the number of trays. That is 9. You will be collecting 9 trays of eggs per day from 300 chickens. How much does a tray cost currently in Kenya? A tray costs 400 bob. An egg goes for around 13 bob. That's how much you sell to the retailers, 13 bob. That's around 400. So 400 per tray, and you have 9 trays, you will earn how much? That is 3,600 Kenya shillings. Yes. So how much feeds will 300 chicken eat per day? A commercial layer is a heavy feeder. They consume between 120 to 140 grams per chicken per day. But let us put it at 130 because even at 130 grams per chicken per day, the chicken can still lay a good quality egg, which is what most farmers give, 130 grams per day. So multiply 130 grams per chicken times 300 chicken, you get 39,000 grams of layer mash. Divide by 1,000 to convert the feeds to kgs, that is 39 kgs. So 39 kgs, you will need 39 kgs of layer mash to feed to your 300 chicken so that they can give you 9 trays of egg, which goes for 400 bob. Meaning, your gross sale from 9 trays of egg is going to be 3,600. A kg of commercial layer goes for 70 bob. Multiply that by 39 kgs that you will spend in a day. That is how much? That is 2,730 per day. So, your gross sale is 3,600. The cost of it is 2,730. Subtract remain with 870. From 300 commercial layers laying at 90% rate, you will collect 9 trays of egg per day. Each tray goes for 400. You will earn 3,600. But the cost of feeds for 300 chicken per day is 2,730. The net profit that you make per day is 870. So you're going to earn 870 per day from 300 commercial layers, multiplied by 30 days because chicken will lay every day, every week. There's no Sabbath for chicken. So that's how many? That is 26,100. So from 300 commercial layers, you are going to earn 26,100 per month. Compare this to Sasso, 100 Sasso, you are going to earn 32,000 per month. Why is the difference? The difference is here. Sasso are laying fertilized egg. These fertilized eggs are sold to breeders who are going to hatch them. One Sasso egg goes for 25 bob. Compared to commercial layer, commercial layers cost between 13 bob when you are selling to retailers, but retailers sell it around 15, 16, 17. So when you are selling it to retailers, you are going to sell it at 13 bob, which is around 400 per tray. Okay? You see the difference? You are going to sell Sasso egg almost twice the amount you sell the commercial egg. So look at the investment you need for 300 commercial layers and the capital you need for 100 Sasso. 100 Sasso you will need 89,000. For 300 commercial layers you will need 371,000. And in these two comparisons, I'm presuming that you are the one providing the labor. So the net earning that you are going to get is exclusive of labor. I'm assuming you are providing labor. And if you are keeping commercial layers any number less than 500, I would advise that you run it yourself. You provide the labor because the profit margin is lower. Yes, the profitability of commercial layers start from 500 birds, but if you want to make good money and you have capital, you can start with 1,000. That's good. Okay. So you see the difference. You need 371,000 to do 300 commercial layers. On the other hand, you need 89,000 to do 100 Sasso. Sasso you earn 32,000. Commercial layer you earn 26,000 per month. However, these are the points to note. Even though you are likely to earn much when you are keeping 100 Sasso compared to 300 commercial layers, remember one thing. It doesn't mean that Sasso will always be better. It usually depends on the management system, the cost of feeds, and the purpose for which you are keeping them. If you are keeping them for meat, you cannot make much money compared to someone who is keeping commercial layers. If you are keeping them for fertilized egg, of course you will make money. One disadvantage of keeping Sasso for fertilized egg is that if you don't do enough marketing, you may lack market for your fertilized egg, and these eggs go bad, and these eggs lose value from day 7. It means you will have to sell your Sasso eggs within 7 days. After that, you can't sell them because they will not serve the purpose. The breeders will not take them because they will not hatch. For commercial layers, you can keep your eggs even up to 2 months. It will not go bad, provided you keep it the right way. The smaller part, sharp-pointed part, pointing down. You can keep your egg even for 2 months. So it means if you are keeping commercial layers, even if there is no market at that time, you can keep your egg and wait for better prices, then sell. For Sasso, you cannot. If you don't have customers, you are going to lose. Why? The eggs cannot be hatched after 7 days. Extreme days is usually you can incubate eggs that is between 7 to 10 days, but for high hatching rate, you should incubate eggs that are 7 days old. So that is one major disadvantage with Sasso, and compared to commercial layers, you have an edge because the egg will never go bad. But another advantage with Sasso is that Sasso you can sell them anytime for meat. Should you have any difficulty continuing to feed them, you run out of funds, you can't buy feed for them, you can sell them to people who are going to eat. For commercial layers, you cannot, unless you want to sell them to someone else. You're going to keep them until they start laying. Another advantage with Sasso is that by the time you are culling them, you can still sell them at premium price. How? Once they have finished laying, as ex-layer, you can feed them in free range. You give them greens, you give them the normal layer feed you give them, and greens and supplements, so that they can gain that kienyeji taste, and you sell it for between 1,000 to 1,200 per hen. For commercial layers, when you are culling them, they're always going for between 600, 700, not much, 500, 600, not much. So even when you are disposing Sasso, you are still going to make money because you are going to sell each bird for at least 1,200. For the roosters, you can sell them at least 1,300. So which way? So if you are someone who is thinking about venturing into layer farming, and you are thinking about keeping commercial layers, or you are torn between keeping commercial layers or improve kienyeji, I've laid down everything: the cost, the requirement, the profit analysis, how much you will earn if you keep 100, if you keep 300. But if you want to keep commercial layers, I would advise start with 500 minimum. That's when you can start making serious money. If you watch this video up to this point, thank you very much. Like, comment, and let me know what you think about these two models in the comment section.